Hello, everybody. Melinda Jacobs here, clinical hypnotherapist, intuitive coach. My business is Quantum Therapeutics. Thank you so much for joining me. And if you're tuning in live, I want comments. I want to chat with you. If you're tuning in after the fact, please let me know where you're coming from. And if this video speaks to you, please share it, or if you know it would benefit someone else. So I want to talk about someone actually requested today that I do a video about what to do if you're sensitive, if you're intuitive, if you're empathic, and everything and everyone around you freaking out. And so there's a lot going on out there energetically, and I am a highly trained empath. I've spent years studying energy, how to take care of myself in the midst of an energetic storm. And I would say right now we are absolutely in a class 5 storm energetically. And I loved that this person reached out and asked me to do this video because I got caught up in it too for a while. It took me a few days to kind of get my bearings and get sorted out. So I want to share with you what kind of skills and tools I have that you can use as well. And checking out comments. Julie says, let me just show you this comment. So thanks, Julie Wilson, for tuning in. She says, everyone is definitely freaking out. That's for sure. I spent a lot of time fielding phone calls. So yeah. So one thing about what's occurring right now with the coronavirus, with other things that are occurring, is just getting information and certainly getting yourself informed. And with so much hype happening, it's a little challenging to know whether or not you're getting truthful information. So before I even try to start informing myself, I want to get myself sorted out first. Oh my gosh, energetically, because I started getting into the panic. And it's like stepping outside of your door and getting carried away with a just like a 70-mile wind, and it literally just pulls you. So what's happening energetically is that we're all synced up. We are all synced up through the internet, through social media. And so collectively, the entire world is having one emotional experience. Well, that's a lot of information. That's a lot of people broadcasting their experience out into the world. And that's naturally happening anyways. But before we synced up with the internet, we were having more individual experiences. And so now it's like we're all having this big collective experience. And so when the collective gets really excited about something, that's fantastic. But when the collective gets scared, oh, that's a whole nother story. And it's going to have a direct impact on your physical being, on your emotional being, on your physiology, on your immune system, and on how you're perceiving and thinking. So I want to take you through a couple quick steps. Number one, I can't emphasize this one enough. Like, I just cannot tell you how important it is to breathe, because what happens when we feel scared is the tendency is to hold our breath, and just stopping and start going back to deep breathing. That in and of itself can switch the nervous system out of that fight, flight, or freeze response back into that rest and digest place. Just connecting with the breath. And I have leaned into this tool so much over the last few days, few weeks, few months. I think of a number of times when my mother was sick and we were in the hospital, and I would just feel this wave of fear and this wave of panic coming over me to the point where I could feel myself losing my ability to breathe. And I would grab onto something like the armchair or the side of the table, and I would force myself to just stop and breathe and slow down. because the panic, that's what's happening right now. Now, I understand there are cases of the virus out, and I understand that there are people that have died from that. I understand that it is something to take seriously. I understand that there is a social responsibility about containing infection, and how nice it would be if we as humanity decided not to go to work when we were sick, and maybe it's for the highest and best if I didn't go to work for a few days because I'm feeling under the weather. But regardless of what's happening, to stop, to breathe, to really find ourselves into that stillness of what is happening right now. One of the best questions that I've ever learned to ask myself is, what do I know to be true in this moment? And what I know to be true in this moment is, nothing's happening in my world. I know that's not true for everyone's world, but right now, for the majority of us, and for those who are really freaking out, nothing's happening. Honestly, it's okay. And so when we can orient back to this moment and connect with, what do I know to be true in this moment? In this moment, I know that there is a virus. In this moment, I know that governments and countries are taking efforts to contain the spread, and that's wonderful and that's beautiful. And in this moment, I've got a little snorkel dog right here. I've got a fire behind me. I have Kuan Yin. I have my crystals. My cat's over there somewhere. In this very moment, what I know to be true is I'm okay. And so I invite you to just come into that practice with me. Just take that deep breath as slow as you can. Deepen it as far as you can into your being. And just let that fear, let that panic, let that stress just drain from the body. So the next thing that I have been doing is calming the fuck down. I try to be politically correct, but I felt the need to bring out some of my badassery today for this conversation, hence the sleeved tattoos and a little fire energy behind me and a little F-bomb here or there. So what I know to be true is that a state of fear, a state of panic, a state of anxiety is probably the most non-conducive state of being for my well-being, for my health. That truly resting in what I know to be true is I have a very strong immune system. I know that's not everybody's position, but for the majority of the panic, most people fall into that line where we have a very strong immune system, and we forget how to take care of that, how to focus on that. So let's just take a moment and acknowledge the God-given system, defense system that is inherent in our own bodies. And the best way to support that is to calm down, relax, and get rest. And so the number one thing that I've been doing, well, I should say the second thing I've been doing, in addition to breathing, is to, oh, yay, delivery, hooray. What I've been doing is to ensure that I am getting rest, that I am sleeping. I am absolutely being very diligent about ensuring that I'm getting rest. And so that's such an important piece that you can do to really enhance your immune system, is to breathe, to calm down, to connect with what's happening in this moment, and ensure that you're taking care of your body. Rest is the number one thing. Reduce stress. Come into, what do I know to be true in this moment, so we quit feeding ourselves all the lies and all the fears and all the what ifs. Julie says, yes, calm the F down. So beyond that, the next thing I want to talk about is being responsible for your body and your experience. And in part, that's about recognizing, am I getting caught up? Am I getting swept away with what everyone's doing? And one of the most powerful tools I ever learned through my study of consciousness theory, through metaphysics, is to recognize that the herd, all the other human beings on the planet, are creating a vibration, creating noise. And that if I allow myself to get swept into the noise, then I lose my sense of self in the herd. And what I want to do is I want to bring myself out of the herd and go, okay, so what's my experience? What am I choosing in this moment? And so with me, I just want to invite you to connect with your body wisdom. I always do it like this. Hey, body wisdom. You know so much. You know all sorts of cool things that I don't. And to connect with that, and then to ask your body wisdom, how would I feel different? Bring me the experience right now of how I would feel different in this moment if I wasn't feeling everyone else's panic. And then I get quiet. And I'm looking for an experience, not what I think it would be like, not what I think would be different, but actually experience it. Bring me the experience of how I would feel different if I wasn't feeling all the other chaos, noise, panic, and fear around me. How would I feel different if I wasn't feeling everyone else's panic and fear around this virus? And what happens is, for me, I'm not saying this is your experience, this is my experience. For me, I feel stillness around my body. I feel a sense of calm coming through. I feel my own concern about my well-being, my mother's well-being, my daughter's well-being, my community, my country. I feel my own concern, but I don't feel terrified. I don't feel panicked. And that is the greatest gift you can give yourself right now, is to ask your body wisdom to teach you how you are doing in the herd if you weren't feeling the herd. And this is hands down the biggest, most beneficial tool I have. It's the most powerful. It is hands down one of the most advanced techniques. And yet here you are doing it with very, very little training. Well, some of you have some training. So really being able to make that distinction about, what am I feeling? Recognizing what the herd's doing. I recognize and I bless them, and I'm just knowing a higher truth. And I wanted to ask you to step into that higher truth with me for just a moment. And the higher truth is this, is that there is an imprint of perfect health within every one of us. There is a place in consciousness where disease does not exist. That's true. There's a place in consciousness where disease doesn't even exist, because it's perfect harmony, perfect health, perfect well-being. And when I tune into that place in consciousness and I breathe it in and I remind myself and remind my cells of their perfect blueprint of health and well-being, I get a moment to breathe. I get a moment to reset myself back into alignment with what I know to be true for myself and for every other person on the planet. Now, I know some people have compromised immune systems. I know that there are diseases out there that are running rampant. I also know the eternality of the human essence, of the essence of who we are. And I choose to remember that. I choose to align with that. And I am watching myself oh so carefully to recognize when I am aligning with the fear, and I take a breath and I come back to choice. When we get caught up in the panic, caught up in the fear, we've lost our choice. Unless you say, oh no, I'm just going to choose to panic. I'm going to choose to do that. If you're doing that consciously, then God bless you. Do that. But I don't think we're doing that by choice. I think it's like a wind sweeps us and we get carried away and we don't even think. We don't even stop to think there's another way. That doesn't mean I'm not taking precautions. It doesn't mean that I'm not feeling into my experience and what do I need to do to ensure my well-being and my mother's well-being and my daughter's well-being. I'm still doing that. But I do it from a place of calm. I do it from a place of truth. I do it from a place of understanding that this too shall pass. The number of plagues that we have experienced just in the last 20 years that got, so big. And yes, it impacted people, but it didn't impact the masses. No, it did not. And so I do not want to diminish or dismiss the reality of what is occurring with people who are ill or sick with this virus or some other condition. I am not dismissing it or ignoring it. And I'm choosing for myself, for this moment, to be with my peace, to be with my calm, to know that there is a system of health permeating through my body, informing my cells, informing my cell membranes, that is the essence of who I am and who we all are. So I want to invite you to take a breath with me. Take responsibility for your experience. Know what you're choosing. And if you need a little support, I'm here to help. I myself have reached out to get support because I needed some help. And so if you're needing support, I am here to help. So please reach out. I do offer 30-minute complimentary consults so we can chat. If there is a particular fear, or maybe this was my thing, maybe you have a cellular memory of some other lifetime where some plague ripped through and your body is reacting and remembering. Oh, it's like, oh God, I remember this, which is exactly what I was doing. So I got some support, I got some help, and I did some clearing. And I'm calm again. So if you're needing support, please let me know. I'm here to help. And here's my information for my website, quantum-therapeutics.com. There's my phone number. Oh, my beloveds, this is scary. It doesn't need to be. And when we stay present, when we stay in the moment, when we stay connected with the breath, then we can make well-informed decisions based on what's happening and what's occurring in my life right now. Please go forward through your day, calm, connected to breath, taking care of yourself, remembering just because everyone else is choosing to react in a particular way does not mean you have to agree with them, and that you can absolutely move through your day in peace until we know otherwise. My blessings to you. I hope this was beneficial. Please share this if you would like, if this was helpful for you. And if you have questions that you want me to speak about, I am happy to do these little live chats. So thank you so much to the person who reached out today and was like, would you please? And I'm like, happy to. And many, many blessings to you as you go through your day. Take good care of you. Take good care of your hearts. And I'll see you soon.